The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome in to Monday's edition of The Big Show, and welcome to March officially.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that selection.
How does that
really
happen?
That was a
What?
real sweat. What do you mean? We got a double-digit seed. That's no good, right?
Oh,
That's a
it's
bummer.
terrible. Oh,
Rats.
so terrible, man. No chance. And anything good. How does this happen? Again, I ask.
This is truly the luckiest Missouri possibly could have been. Like
Drive
the
the ball.
most fortunate. It's drivable. Be there. I've got Mizzou fans saying it's walkable. I'll be there.
Walkable. Oh,
Unbelievable.
man.
What a day.
That's about as good as Mizzou could have drawn it up as far as their NCAA tournament selection. We're going to talk about that and what that means now for Mizzou as they get set to play Friday in their own state. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about their path. How far can they actually go? Can this Tiger team take advantage of all that and go far in this tournament? We'll also talk about the Chiefs. Some interesting news today. How about that?
Yeah.
Justin Fields, welcome on into Kansas City. How helpful can that be for this Chiefs team? We'll talk about that at 5:05, and Larissa Anderson will join us too at 5:45. You can join us with a call or a text at 875-KTGR, but let's get to this first.
Now, The Big Show's Big Deal.
Somehow, some way, Mizzou ended up in St. Louis for their first round game and second round game if they're able to get that far. Tigers drawn as the 10 seed in the West region of the NCAA tournament, and their first round matchup will be against Miami, Florida. Talked about the possibility of them playing Miami, Ohio last week, but no. Important distinction. The U is who the Tigers will be facing in their first round game, and it'll be the first time since 2002 these two teams have met up. And Mizzou won that game also in the NCAA tournament. On the way to the Elite Eight, I should say, that year. So Mizzou, favorable draw. Not only do they get into the NCAA tournament, they avoid Dayton, but they also don't have to leave their home state for their first two games, potentially, in this field. And that is the Big Show's Big Deal on the 16th day of March, 2026. And that, Brendan, is about as well as you could have drawn it up if you were Mizzou and you were wondering, well, where should we end up? Where could we end up? That is perfection from what you could have reasonably hoped for. Avoiding 8-9, avoiding Dayton, being firmly in the field. And oh, by the way, you can bust to your first two games. How?
It's pretty good. Yeah, when I mentioned pressing that button to play Miami, that is not what I had in mind, but I'm not complaining about it.
Play Miami.
You know, the moment that I realized, and there wasn't like a lot of lead time on this, but the moment that I realized that we could be in for something pretty cool, I didn't know it would be this cool. But when I saw that first four matchup pop up on my screen between Texas and NC State, at first I thought, oh my gosh, Texas is in. And I felt like they were, in a little bit of danger. And so my first thought was, oh no, what if they're the SEC team that takes our spot because they beat us in the regular season? But then I got to thinking, NC State was supposed to be higher up than the first four. So I'm like, wait a minute. What if this first four matchup is actually more about NC State? Maybe Missouri could take their spot getting a bye. Because I remember Lenardi, I think, had him as, and by the way, Lenardi had about a perfect day with his bracket. So for as much as we've said, he's not really done very well.
Yeah, like as far as like the teams that got in, like the guessing the at-larges.
Teams that got in,
yeah.
His seed lines were only off by one at the most for just about everybody. So he did pretty well this year. But a lot of people did. A lot of people on that bracket matrix had these 37 at-large teams and, felt like Auburn was just on the outside looking in. Oklahoma was the first team out. Shout out Mark Mitchell for that buzzer beater. But I feel like NC State dropping down to first four before we knew Missouri's fate was a good sign for Missouri because that was maybe somebody's spot you could take that you weren't sure was going to be accessible. Most people did not have NC State having to go to Dayton, and they do. We found out very shortly thereafter that Missouri was getting a 10 seed. Not only that, but in St. Louis. I'll be honest, as that Miami versus question mark was being unveiled, I was rooting for the Billikens to get to stay home and play. I didn't even really think that would be an option for Missouri. And then it popped up a Tiger logo, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is beautiful.
I mean,
incredible stuff.
That is incredible. And the fact that they get the bye is like they were a couple spots away from it, from the way that I interpreted it, right? Couple spots away from getting the bye. They were number 39 overall on the seed list. And if you dipped to even 41, which would have been the first 11, like those first 4 teams took the first couple of 11 seeds, and then the other 2 were technically auto bids. VCU and South Florida apparently would not have been in this if they had not won their conference tournament. And so Mizzou, from where they were, actually kind of close to that line between not having to go to Dayton and getting there, but very clearly in the NCAA tournament field, and that should have been the case all along. Should not have been sweating whether or not Mizzou was in or out, but absolutely wondering, okay, are you in the actual tournament the way that people frame the actual tournament starting on Thursday and on Friday, or are you having to play your way in Dayton? And look, the fact that Mizzou avoids that and gets a team that is like almost exactly like them, just, maybe a little bit better, won a few more games and maybe a few more talented guys, who knows? They are a team that is composed almost the exact same way and has very similar metrics. They get to their production in very similar ways. And so that's going to make for an interesting style on Friday. Like that, how Mizzou is able to attack Miami when they have similar strengths and weaknesses. Now you got to find, you kind of turned your stars there, and you got to have somebody step up other than Mark Mitchell. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't know how Missouri matches up in this one. We talked with Rob Vino on Friday and said, just give them a regular team, like a team that doesn't have like a certain party trick that can really scare you and knock you out in the first round. I think largely that's what you have in Miami. I also, Andy, I'll be honest, I like that they're a high major. I didn't want to see a mid-major, the plucky, because they wouldn't have really been the plucky underdog. It would have been a 7 seed against a 10-seeded Missouri. But I didn't want to see like a Santa Clara, a St. Mary's from that same West Coast Conference. They end up with a 7. Yeah. Santa Clara is the 10 taking on Kentucky, also happening in St. Louis on Friday. I didn't want to see like a St. Mary's. I wanted to see, we've had enough of that. You lose to Princeton, you lose to Drake. Let's just have like a high major versus high major. Nothing to see here. There's no angst about losing to the plucky upstart. Like, this will be just fine, and Missouri should have the home court advantage, I would have to imagine. So, again, you can't ask for much better, even in terms of like, if we lose, we lost to an ACC team. Like, it is what it is. There isn't going to be that angst of you lost to the West Coast Conference or something like that.
Well, there's not that. I agree, but there would still be consternation if they don't win this game.
No, for sure. I mean, it's a favorable draw.
They won't
so the expectation.
Yeah, the detractors, the skeptics of Dennis Gates for sure will look at this and say, "Oh, another first round exit. What do you know?" Even though he's had 1 first round exit so far and 1 non-first round exit, they got to the second round. But yes, they lost to Princeton. Yes, we know. This would. I get it. The opponent is different. It's not a team that's you usually don't expect to advance at this round, and Mizzou's not favored to advance. They're an underdog. They are about 2.5 point underdogs to Miami in this game. So it's not like they're expected to, but if they don't, and they were playing in Enterprise Center, like, it'd be like,
by the way, it's down to 1.5. So,
okay. All right.
Minus 130 versus minus 110 or plus 110 Missouri on the money line. Yeah, it's a coin flip. I mean, it's really, really, really close to a coin flip. I do think, though, like that might not be a great value when it comes to Missouri. Only underdog by 1.5. You look at Ken Pom. I mean, I don't know how much to be concerned by this, but when you look at the Ken Pom metrics, Miami is 31st, and they've got like Utah State ranks higher than them as a 9 seed. Ohio State ranks up there as an 8 seed. Every other 7 seed ranks higher in KenPom than Miami. So like they're a little bit lower there, but it also feels like there's a gap between them and the way the metrics view Missouri down at 52. So it feels like as favorable as it could be, and yet maybe these teams, like, are they that similar? Are they that close together where Missouri should be able to, pencil in that little home court advantage and pull this off? Or is it like we're getting our hopes up here because everything is laying out as favorably as you could, but they still have to go and do it against a team that is, again, top. They're 31st in KenPom. So Miami earned its spot for sure. Many are putting the opinion out there that Missouri got lucky, should not have gotten this good of a draw. I agree. Like, it's awesome that it's happening. But then to not take advantage of it, I think would be the shame. Yeah.
It's created somewhat by the fact that, who is it, Santa Clara? Santa Clara couldn't play in one of those other spots because St. Mary's was there.
Yes. Yeah,
right.
I think that's, well, I don't know about that. Kentucky was going to go to St. Louis for sure.
Yeah.
But then it was maybe there were 2 pods of St. Louis that Kentucky could have gone. And so it ends up being related to that. The bracket like unfolding that I saw on Twitter is pretty cool to kind of see the reasoning why Mizzou ended up here. I think it does boil down to Purdue winning the Big Ten championship game yesterday. I think logically bumped them from 9 to 8 on the total seed line, which makes them a 2 instead of a 3. Michigan State would have been in that spot, and St. Louis would not have gotten a second pod of 2 seeds. Iowa State was the highest ranked 2 seed that got to choose or got to have deference to get to play in St. Louis. Purdue landing in St. Louis allows the wheels to begin spinning to have a Mizzou team that's on that 10 line be able to land here. So yeah, it's kind of cool the way that it all works out, but I don't believe it would have happened if Purdue had not won yesterday for whatever that's worth.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because I don't think there would have been a second pod of 2 versus 15, 7 versus 10 located in St. Louis. Purdue would have probably still played in St. Louis, but they would have been a 3 seed with Michigan State going to Buffalo more likely than not as a 2 seed because that's where they ended up going anyway. So Purdue and Michigan State weren't jockeying for city. They both got the city that I think they would have been bracketed to. The order that it happened, though, kind of is what impacted Missouri down the line to be able to land where they are.
But this here could not have asked for a better spot for Mizzou to be in, and even better than, like, geographically, yeah, it was easy to drive to Wichita and go and see that game if you were a Mizzou fan, and several of you did. The fact that Drake had half their team from Kansas City kind of nullified that a little bit.
That did. We tried to kind of figure that out last year, and
a little bit of kind of even when it came to that. This one shouldn't be even. This should be a spot where Mizzou can dominate the building. I mean, the session beforehand, I mean, there will be a lot of Purdue fans here, I'm sure, but it'll be like Purdue and Mizzou will lead this session, no doubt. And then it's also coming back to the fact that, hey, the symbolism of you got popped in this building 3 months ago by Illinois by 41 points. Everything since then, for the most part, has turned back up. Like the fact that they are in this spot after getting trounced by that team and having no hope. We're talking maybe you'd be lucky to scratch out 4 or 5 conference wins after that. Was what we have seen this team do.
I think an over-under that I set shortly after that Illinois game of like 4.5. And I was like, I don't know. Who cares? That was really the vibe at the time.
Yeah. And now those same folks can fill up that building and help deliver you a victory in a first-round matchup.
Yeah.
That would then give you the chance to go up against, most likely, the powerhouse Purdue. Unless maybe and that's Queens is more feared if, in fact,
here's what I was wondering when it comes to the Friday night stuff. Like, do you think Purdue fans will be like, I'll see you Sunday? Like, is there that attitude because it's a 2 seed that they'll get into town when they can? But their game's the 6:00 game. Like if you're working a Friday and then you're driving over from West Lafayette, Indiana, like
It's not that far.
there will be plenty of Purdue fans there. Don't get me wrong. But is it one of those where, we've kind of been around the block on this before. We'll go for Sunday for session 3 and get to see Purdue take on the winner of Mizzou, Miami. We'll probably get to see Kentucky take on Iowa State. Like that's the way we're going to do it rather than Purdue fans buying up a lot of those Friday night tickets. I think that the pricing on it has been dominated by Missouri fans going, holy crap, it's never going to be this good again. Let's get there.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe Kentucky fans that like bought the tickets before they knew which session, because I was trying to figure that out last night of like, well, which session is it going to be? And I'll be curious, are there Kentucky fans that are holding both sessions because they just want to watch basketball all day? And if Santa Clara should knock them out early, do those Kentucky fans post their tickets for the nightcap and say, see you, we're heading back home? That's something that could maybe affect ticket prices down the road. But yeah, it's going to be a Mizzou. It has to be a Mizzou dominated building. If it's not, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Well, it would be epic if Mizzou can get that done and then turn Sunday into what would be probably Kentucky fans. But then, as you talk about, I don't know how they would order the games. Maybe go Kentucky first.
I assume Kentucky first, just based on them being first this time. But it'll probably be another morning game. So you're probably talking about mid-afternoon on Sunday, if I had to guess.
Well, yeah.
For Mizzou.
They start out on Sunday. They'll have one session nationally, session play as a standalone on Sunday afternoon. And then the rest of the games across the country get started around, 4 or 5 o'clock Central Time or so. And
even for the round of 32, they can pull that off?
Yeah,
okay.
They usually, for Saturday, Sunday, they'll put one session up and say, all right, you guys are just going to go play through, and this is all that will happen. And then they'll start the staggered ones with the remaining 3 sessions of the day across the country, starting at around 6 Eastern or so, however they want to do it. But
because Kentucky's the first game of the day on Friday, I feel like that's going to be,
you would think so,
putting the St. Louis session in the early window, if I had to guess. Unless maybe Kentucky loses and they're like, well, we don't want to show Santa Clara on the primetime, CBS slot or whatever. I don't know.
Sure, that
we could guess till
matters.
The cows come home.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I think it all matters because they don't release those times until after the first round for that reason. Missouri, by the way, the last game of the first round. Of
the
64.
last game.
How do you feel about
that
like
draw? I'm not all that fond of.
No, I'm not either.
Like that, and it's not going to tip to actually until like probably 9:20 ish. They say 9:10. But the first game inevitably is going to go long, and they got to have at least, 30
Queens
minutes in between.
Isn't going to let the dream die.
Like
Queens of North Carolina will continue to foul Purdue.
No, they're here they're not just happy to be here. Queens is going to be fighting.
Man, would that be something though if it happened again? What if it happened?
No,
again?
I don't know if it would happen. How would Mizzou fans treat that? Would you be more scared of Purdue or more scared of Queens?
More scared of Purdue.
Okay.
But I will say this: they're the last 2 seed on that S curve. Like, in terms of the 2 seeds, did you want Houston, UConn? Did you want? I think.
Oh, out of the 2 seeds, Purdue, is the most favorable one because those other options. Iowa State, I believe the other one.
Iowa State would crush us like a bug.
They are so good.
They might be my natty pick. I mean, they look really good.
I'll say this: Purdue looked awesome yesterday. Against Michigan. I was like, oh yeah, that's a team that if they play like this, if that point guard is playing like that all tournament, they are nearly unstoppable. Yeah. Until the Elite Eight.
Did Braden Smith or whatever his name is, did he get his 13 assists or whatever he needed to 10 assists?
I assume so. Did you see that they had to change his jersey in the halftime? Because apparently his first jersey got ripped, and so he had to change numbers. He was wearing number 41 for the second half.
Okay. Did not notice that. Being honest, it was kind of crazy because we had storms coming in.
That's true.
I had 3 televisions on in my basement. One was to be bowling. One was to be basketball, the Big Ten game, ready for the selection show. The other was the golf tournament, the players.
Oh, yeah.
Not one of them was on. It was weather on all 3 channels. And so I'm like, and we're like hunkering down in our basement. And so I'm like, well, get the laptop out, pull up the golf, pull up the basketball. We watched the selection show on a tiny little screen because everything was preempted yesterday in
Yeah.
the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
But no, I did not notice
storming
the
there.
jersey change for
And
that
then
reason.
and then it snowed in Columbia. We got an inch of snow yesterday. So that's great.
This is
This is
about par
March.
for the course.
This is March.
Yeah, this is March.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So where Mizzou's town that they reside in snowed, and then they're going to bust 2 hours to a town that didn't get snow, but got a bunch of tornadoes last.
Yeah, we got a little flurries this morning.
Yeah, so that's great, and of course Mizzou having that type of draw is, again, they had to get a little lucky with how that all played out and the semantics and the logistics of it all. And at the same time, avoiding Dayton was going to be the most important thing, both not just for the sentiment of it, because some folks feel that that's not the real tournament, but also just being as fresh as possible, not having to expend yourself so much to remain in this field. A win in Dayton, would it have been credited all that much anyway? We're not so sure. Right. So like that, the fact that they get to start in a spot where they have standardly started and in a place that they're familiar with, rims that they're familiar with, it's not too bad.
Yeah, they're familiar with the rims. Do we like the rims?
Rims weren't kind to him last time. I would agree.
They really like the rims. They really like it.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's just the part of that. And also the fact that there's a little familiarity here. Dennis Gates, C.Y. Young, Anthony
that's
Robinson.
An interesting aspect of it.
Is going to play against his former high school teammate, Trey Donaldson. That's another aspect of it. Yeah, the back and forth, the gamesmanship here will be astonishing, how these two teams can play it.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little bit advantage Miami on that side, because like CY's influential there, I'm sure, but he's not the head coach. And so it's harder to maybe extract knowledge from what they might do from Missouri's perspective based on what an assistant coach is trying to instill at Miami. Meanwhile, CY knows like half the players here already and knows how to what you can do to defend them and things like that. So that may not be in Mizzou's advantage, but again, still overcomable. If you get the stars to be stars, then you have a lane to win this game.
Yeah. No, I don't think you could have asked for much more. Now it's going to be a matter of going out and doing the dang thing. And we'll have a couple days to think about this, because that's the benefit or the drawback of being the Friday session is a little bit longer to wait. So rest up and run that tight rotation and be ready to, play sharp. That's the hope. So what do you think about the draw, Mizzou fans? Call or text us at 875-KTGR. If you want to chime in, you can also see us live right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports, and on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show. Leave a comment there. We'll flash it up on the screen. You can interact with us now as we look ahead to Mizzou's NCAA tournament matchup in St. Louis this Friday against Miami of Florida. Important to make that distinction for this year's NCAA tournament. We'll talk more about that. How far can Mizzou go in this potential path that they have in the NCAA tournament starting in St. Louis? We'll get to that next here on The Big Show.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. If you want the tire experts, if you want the largest selection, if you want a team that you can trust to take care of your vehicle, you get it all at Lee's Tire Company. That's where I go to take my car in whenever I need new tires or service done, oil changes. They have 3 locations, 2 in Columbia and 1 in Centralia, that you can go to check out yourself. And they do a great job, if you're in the market for new tires, of putting money back in your pocket. They run specials all the time. So this month you can save on Bridgestone tires, Firestone, Goodyear, so many more brands. You can get money back into your pocket if you buy sets of tires from Lee's Tire Company. So take advantage of that. Go see all the specials at leestirecompany.com. You can also browse their full selection so you can know exactly what type of tires that you want before you bring your car in. Go and check them out on the Business Loop in Columbia or at University Garage by the MU campus or in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. leestirecompany.com.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
Do-it-yourself projects are getting a lot more popular, and that's great. Some things you gotta leave to the pros, like welding. Think of it like watching your favorite team and yelling at the guy who biffed the play that you so easily could have made. No, you couldn't, or you'd be out there doing it. Leave the sports to the pros and the welding to Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. Repair work to custom fabrication. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. Kretsch'sCustomExteriors.com.
What happens when a chef, two pharmacists, and a financial analyst walk into a bar? They buy it. And then they tell people from all walks of life to come enjoy it with them. Big flavors, bigger burgers, local brews, handcrafted drinks, and a game of pool or two. See, Billiards was built by people like you. A teacher, a receptionist, and a cashier walk into Billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
Your restaurant has great food, but you're still not seeing as many people come through the door as you'd like. You offer an amazing experience, and the food is incredible, but you just need more people to try you. That's where ShopMidmo.com comes in. When you're part of ShopMidmo.com, thousands of potential customers will see your offers, helping you build your exposure. It's an amazing tool for restaurants who offer great experiences to the best foodies in town. Find out how ShopMidmo.com can give your restaurant a jump start. Contact us at
ShopMidmo.com.
Paradise doesn't have to be far away. Sometimes it's a quiet walk through a state park. Sometimes it's your favorite takeout and a night in. At Shangri-La, we believe that cannabis belongs in those everyday moments, not as an escape, but as part of living well. That's why we offer 20% off select category every day, plus 20% off store-wide every Sunday. Thoughtful products, honest guidance, real value. Shangri-La, discover paradise. Learn more at ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, here's something I want to know. Brendan, have you written out your bracket yet? Like you usually do.
In part.
Okay.
I have. I was trying to juggle everything during the storms, and so I drew one out, and I was scribbling the names in there. My son Gabe wanted me to make one for him, so I was kind of trying to do two at once. And then things got a little crazy once Mizzou was announced. So I have it drawn. Not all the team names are written in yet. We had to put a pause to it.
Yeah.
But that's my annual tradition, is I like to not just like print one out and write my names in. I go the full distance. I draw the lines myself. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I will find some time today or tomorrow before the real bracket gets going to draw the whole thing and have like my official bracket. I keep it in my pocket for like, a couple weeks during March until I feel like ripping it up, and then I just put it in a drawer somewhere.
Okay.
I resist the urge to actually tear it though.
Well, here's what we're doing though. We're letting other people in on the tradition this year.
Okay.
With Brendan. If you listening right now have the KTGR app, if you don't, hey, it's free to download. Why not? Go and download it. And you can click on the very first thing at the top, enter into our Big Show Bracket Challenge. Couple of elements to it. You can, we have an online pool that you can go and join right now, and it's through ESPN. It'll link there if you go to the KTGR app. You can also go to KTGR.com. It'll link to it there too. You can join the online bracket pool. But what you can also do is join in on the tradition, which is to write out your picks on a paper bracket, upload the photo through the KTGR app, and if you do that, you'll get a free KTGR t-shirt. So
Ooh.
there you go. That's
Yeah, but
another
what
way
if you
to get
what
into
if you, Andy, I got to stop you. What
Yeah,
if you
what?
get all your picks wrong and your bracket stinks? Then you probably don't get the T-shirt, right?
No, you get the T-shirt still.
You still get the
still
T-shirt?
get the T-shirt.
Well,
No.
take a picture of
Yeah.
your stinking handwritten bracket
Yeah.
and get you a T-shirt.
Get a
What are we doing?
T-shirt. Like, that's all you got to do. Like, if you fill out a bracket every year, all you got to do, okay, print out a bracket. You don't have to draw the
You don't
lines
even
like
have to
Brendan
draw the
does.
lines
Yeah,
like a
Brendan
crazy
goes,
person.
if you want to draw the lines like Brendan does, go ahead, knock yourself out. But we
More power
won't.
to
We
you.
won't require that. Just write in the picks. So you can go to like NCAA.com. They've got the teams already listed, but you just print out that blank bracket, write out your picks, upload the photo on the KTGR app. You got a KTGR T-shirt for free, and it doesn't even matter if your picks are right or wrong. So go and do that. And in addition, you can enter in to our online bracket pool for the actual points, like you track it and whoever does the best. And there will be more prizes involved with that. So go and join that as well. Get all the details on the KTGR app. You can also go to ktgr.com and check it out there. But love to see all the brackets that get drawn out this year and see if anybody
There we
gets
go.
creative with it also.
I'm down with that.
So
Love doing that every year.
So that's what we're doing here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. You can play along with us. In the meantime, we'll look to see how Mizzou does. They get Miami on Friday in St. Louis. How far can they go? Just that far? Can they go further than that, Brendan? Only
Gotta win the first one.
One NCAA tournament win in how many years?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, since
years.
09, I believe. So that's something you got to overcome.
That's what we're up against.
It's the mental block mostly, and mostly from the fan base. The players themselves weren't along for all of that.
No, they were not.
The fact that you can look at this NCAA tournament bracket, and again, Brendan, they got the worst two. Still a very strong team. Like it's going to be hard to beat, but the worst two that you could have gotten. And then after that, presumably Gonzaga as the three that you're meeting, which is, also a very strong team, but every year they get got. Gonzaga has
somehow, some
don't
way.
think won an NCAA championship yet. Every single year they stumble. So maybe they stumble against you, or they stumble earlier and you get a BYU. That'd be interesting to face Debanza.
That would not be
works.
a gift, but you can see the path a little bit. I mean, get by the first one. Purdue, I think, is the most gettable 2 seed. Or I'll be pulling for Queens just because I feel like, try me again with the 15 seed. Give me the chance and I'll see how it goes.
Third time's the charm.
I mean, I think if you can tell me I'll be favored in a second round game, I will take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, relative to being an underdog against Purdue, yes, bring it on. Is it a guaranteed win? No, we've learned that lesson before. But I think clearly that would be the situation you want. I'm peeking at some of the other regions, like, the 6th seed Tennessee is a 6th seed. Missouri already beat them, so maybe that would have been a little more favorable than like a BYU. Even looking, though, at the top half of the bracket, like, if Arkansas gets there to the Elite Eight and you should meet up with Arkansas, like, you've been on the court with them before.
Yeah.
You damn near beat them, should have beat them in one of the 2 games. So
They didn't have Acuff in that game.
Did not have Acuff in that game. No, they did not.
Or Wagner.
And he's really good.
Both of them.
But I'm just saying, like, and no. Do I think Missouri's going to go to the Final Four? No. Is there a path, theoretically, to winning a couple of games here and taking your shot in the Sweet 16 against BYU or Gonzaga or an 11 seed that comes out of that? Yeah, there is. There is. I don't know that I'm going to put it in my bracket. Take this very seriously. But I think that's, again, draw-wise, wouldn't have asked for any different 2 seed. I don't think I would have asked for a different 3 seed. Virginia, Illinois, and Michigan State. I think Gonzaga, you outlined the reasons that might be doable. Probably would have asked for a different 6 seed, but, beggars can't be choosers. I think that's a good spot to be in if Missouri plays its best. Again, when they play well, I think they could be a challenge to any of those teams that we're naming here.
Well, yeah, that they have shown a huge upside when they're at their best game.
Yeah.
When's the last time they played their best game?
I mean, they did it against Texas A&M for sure. That's a 10 seed. That's not one of the world beaters, but they did do that against them. Tennessee, I don't know. What do you think? Tennessee game?
That was a good game. I don't know
really
if it
well.
was like, yeah, they played. I mean, they dug an early hole, but they came back into it, and that was a key stretch that they had.
They played really, really well. That would probably be my answer. Like if you play like that, maybe you start slow, but you get into the rhythm of what you do well. The problem is that game was taken over by T.O. Barrett, and we haven't really seen it before or since from him to that degree. And I don't know if it's possible. I think that was like a solar eclipse or something. Well, just the stars aligned, You
need some sort of boost from another player not named Mark Mitchell. If it's T.O. Barrett, great.
Yeah.
It can come from somebody else, though. It can come from Jaden Stone or Trent Pierce. It can come from Anthony Robinson. Is he extra motivated to play in this game? Who knows? I just think it's a hard ask for Mark Mitchell to do all of this.
We've seen what it looks like when he does it all. He scores 32 and you still lose.
Yeah, he still loses.
He's done it twice.
Yeah.
You need what he can do.
Need a little more balance. Like if he gets to 22, but somebody else is there to turn to, the Mizzou, most likely they were able to find more effective shots on different parts of the floor. And I think it also helps them out on the defensive side because, again, if they have other players getting out in the fast break and building up buckets that way, then that means that they maybe had a better defensive game in this one. It all comes down to, can a few more guys, it doesn't have to be everyone every single game. It might have to be for Purdue. If you're facing Purdue, you might need 4 guys to just go off. But look, for this one, you just got to build some momentum because right now you have still no wins in March. None.
None wins.
None wins in March.
That's not a good enough. It's not 9. That's just none.
No,
that's not any.
I mean, look, it is a monkey off the back the Tigers got to get, and now they're at the end. Like you have no room for error anymore to try and get this situated because, and look, there is added pressure for playing in St. Louis now. So how do they all overcome those mental blocks? Because I think that's largely what it is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be thinking individually, like from T.O. Barrett mental block, because sometimes it's just the game speeds up and he's making reckless passes. Have to avoid those. For others, I don't really know if it's as easy to pinpoint because I think it's shooting percentage. Like, can these guys get in rhythm? Can everybody move without the basketball to be able to set up an offense that, we're not feeling stagnant in the half court? I think that's probably going to be the play because this isn't last year's Mizzou team where the formula was very simple to get out and run and just be happy to play at that fast pace. Like, this is a team that has slowed it down and they don't mind defending in the half court. It seems like there's been quite a few of those 28-second great defenses and then 1 second left on the shot clock, they get an open look. But I mean, they've improved defensively, I think, from last year to this year, and it has kind of created a stylistic change of maybe the tempo and the flow of the game. But Miami's not a team that really speeds you up too terribly much either. They're comfortable playing at that slower pace. So can you play and execute within the half court offensively in things that are not ISO ball with Mark Mitchell or ISO ball with T.O. Barrett? You know what I mean? Like, get that ball movement and create the 3-point looks that can lead to a requisite percentage, because I think we talk a lot about 3-pointers not dropping down for this team. And then they shy away from shooting them at times. I think you have to be willing to let it fly from 3 in an NCAA tournament setting. But I think to get those type of looks that we can expect to go down, you also have to move without the basketball, play a little bit of inside out, and be able to make that extra pass to where the guy shooting the ball is the one that ought to be. A lot of times it feels like, all right, we're down in the half court. We spent about 12 seconds. okay, clock's ticking down. Who wants to kind of start this one off on the possession? And maybe you drive and score or draw a foul. Maybe you drive and kick. But like I think their offense needs a little bit more than that with the kind of competition they're about to be facing.
And look, I think my answer to this is, look, I can't see it. If it's Purdue there, then I can't see them getting past Purdue. It's a very strong unit that, look, maybe it would have been even worse off by facing one of the other ones, but with the way that they're playing right now, I don't see Mizzou having enough juice to be able to get past that team. But if you can get past Miami, that does kind of remove a bit of the mental block of like, well, is this team going to be able to find big wins at this time of year? Like this would, again, as an underdog, if they win this one, this would prove a few people wrong in that. And look, if they go up against Purdue and maybe they fight hard, but they come up short, there won't be any type shame in that. And that's why I feel like this one game coming up Friday, like it's huge. It feels like it's like a real ceiling riser for what Mizzou fans might think about what this program is under Dennis Gates at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it just getting by the first round matchup, which kind of feels like that Utah State game a few years ago. Mizzou was the 7 in that one, though, right? Utah State was the 10.
Yeah.
So I think Mizzou was not heavily favored, if at all, but they had the seed advantage, if I'm recalling correctly. Mm-hmm. This one's a little different. I mean, you're the 10 to a 7, but we've talked about, man, these 8-9s, these 7-10s, they're coin flips. And especially when you bake in the Missouri home crowd that should be there. I think that the ticket prices suggest they will be. This is very coin flippy of a game, but if you start to win more of those, rather than, I think what a lot of fans are feeling the angst of is that sometimes they no-show in those types of games, or they, like the Kentucky game in the SEC tournament as an example, they don't play well for a little while and then they turn it on, but they falter late. They lose a game that felt like, man, that's in the grasp. The Arkansas game felt like it was in the grasp the senior day for Mark Mitchell. I think people are like, just give us give us in a game that means a lot to a lot of people. Let's finish strong and win that one. Get over the hump in that one. It's not to take away from some of the big wins they've had this year, Andy, but it feels like we can qualify it a little bit and say, well, that was a good win, but it wasn't the conference tournament win we needed. It wasn't the punctuation mark on senior day we needed. It wasn't an NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
game.
and look,
fair or unfair,
right.
That's kind of the attitude.
And every team in this field had big wins to get here. And so like it feels now like, all right, so you got the big wins and those were fun. And that now brings you to the point where you are in the tournament that decides the best of the best. And this now becomes what not the entire season should feel like, but it's the lasting image. And a lot of people can't get past the lasting image of what a season was.
Yeah.
So
and now it's year 4. People want they want the referendum. They're like, what is Dennis Gates at Missouri?
Yeah.
People want to be able to put that into a sentence or two. And it's hard to do that with all the qualifiers.
Yeah,
but they had this recruiting class. Yeah, but they went 0-19. Yeah, but they got to 3 tournaments in 4 years. Yeah, but they've got Jason Crow coming. Like you can put that scale out there and there's a lot of pros and cons, but people want to know that we're moving in a positive direction and they see other programs that make hires that maybe get there a little bit more quickly. Sometimes we fail to realize, well, here's the resources they have. Here's why they could have success a little more quickly. But people want to just believe that their weight is heading in a positive direction. And I think with football, correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of people have bought into football. I think a lot of people have said, you know what? It hasn't gotten there yet. But I feel like the momentum is visible. I feel like we're seeing the signs that it's there in a lot of regards. Maybe it's easier to see when you've got that nice construction project going on in the north end zone. But like I feel like the vibes about football, everybody feels like the arrow is pointing up. Basketball, I think people want to believe that it's pointing up, but there are some that are skeptical of it. That's my, I don't even know if that's a hot take, but that's like my analysis of why people feel the angst they do about, just beat the dang 7 seed in a St. Louis environment. Like that people want to get that type of data point to feel good about where the team is heading as a program, not just this year's team.
Call or text us 875-KTGR if you want to weigh in on Mizzou's NCAA tournament draw. How far can they go now as a 10 seed starting out in St. Louis, taking on Miami on Friday night? You'll hear it on KTGR right here, bright and late, 9:10 p.m. tip-off. All right, under the bus. Coming up next. Oh, man. Not Florida, Alabama and legal trouble. Like, what is happening here now? Right before the NCAA tournament, one of their best scorers on the team facing a charge that you don't want to be facing. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball learned yesterday that they'll start in St. Louis for their NCAA tournament run. They're the 10 seed in the West region. They'll get the 7 seed, Miami Hurricanes, coming up Friday. Again, tip-off is at 9:10 p.m. That's the approximate time. Depends on the game earlier when it wraps up. Coverage will begin at 8:30 p.m. right here on KTGR for Mizzou in the NCAA tournament Friday evening. Mizzou women's basketball also will have postseason play this week. The Tigers were named in the 32-team WBIT field last night. Their first-round game will be at Seton Hall. Tigers will go up north for that game on Thursday night. Tip-off at 6. You'll hear pregame starting at 5:45 on KTGR on Thursday. And the Chiefs, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, have traded for quarterback Justin Fields of the New York Jets. He was their starter last season before being benched and now comes to Kansas City in exchange. The Chiefs send to New York a 2027 sixth-round pick. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on KTGR.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking another clear and cold night. As winds die down, we'll see temperatures falling down to about 13 degrees by tomorrow morning. We'll see increasing clouds throughout the day. Still chilly with a high near 40 degrees. We'll see a chance for a few flurries or light rain showers tomorrow evening. After that, we're warming up. As we head towards Wednesday, temperatures rise back up into the upper 60s with more sunshine. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
The madness.
Fair to the rim for the flush.
Starts.
Robinson open three, launches.
Bang! Now.
Mitchell puts up a three-pointer. Good! And Missouri wins it.
It's the NCAA tournament. Join us Friday. The Tigers, the Hurricanes, live from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Our coverage begins at 8:30 on your home for Mizzou basketball. Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Small businesses are the backbone of any successful community. We know, because we're a small business too. We cherish the people who live and work here, which is why we partner with so many businesses to help them grow. And over the years, we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for our local children's hospital, our food bank, Central Missouri Honor Flights, and True North. If you want to work with a group of people who believe that giving is always better than getting, contact Zimmer Communications today or learn more at ZimmerCommunications.com.
During Lowe's Pro Savings Days, the job works in your favor. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members buy more and save more on materials they rely on every day. Get up to 25% off select molding when you spend $1,000 or more, and up to 25% off Pergo Evercraft laminate flooring. Put Pro Savings Days to work for you. Members get more at Lowe's. Valid through 3/27. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowes.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall! How is that even possible? They got my password. Please don't tell me your password was password. It's actually password 1.
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
This is Phil Fortaleza here with Mizzou Basketball's Anthony Robinson II and his mama Nisha, getting ready for the latest Sticklin' and Sticklin' injury law commercial.
Aunt, you got your line?
I got it, Mom.
Go ahead.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Call Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
Mom, that's my line.
At Sticklin' and Sticklin', all they do is personal injury.
Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
It's a slam dunk.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, this is not something you want to be happening the week that your team prepares to play in the NCAA tournament. Alabama and their second leading scorer, Aiden Holloway, facing a first-degree marijuana possession charge this week.
I didn't know he still did this, but I think the guy might have had like a pound of it reportedly. So yeah. I don't know, but I didn't know he still did that for marijuana.
I guess so. Yeah.
I saw that this morning. I'm like, I'm sure the details explain it a little bit better of why that happened. But yeah, that's not, I mean, Alabama is kind of used to this. But this is kind of just another thing to have to deal with. Always seems like somebody somewhere's got something going on when the NCAA tournament comes up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isn't that weird that this comes up now? But
every year
they're dealing with it. So
every year something happens.
Bama's a 4 seed. We'll see what happens with Holloway.
Yeah, and who they got? They got
Hofstra.
Hofstra, you're right.
Okay.
Oh man, that'll be something. Hofstra's ready to play. First ever appearance in 25 years. Who knows?
I think this is going to be another weak year for upsets.
Okay.
This is my concern.
Well, we'll see. Under the bus to Bruce Pearl. I mean, it's embarrassing at this point. Like, just know what you're doing, buddy. Auburn
misses. Everybody turns to Bruce Pearl. What does Bruce have to say about it? What's his unbiased opinion on Auburn?
Well, he spent the whole selection show afterwards, after the field was revealed, saying, hey, why did Auburn not get in? All these quality opponents that they beat. All these conference champions. Buddy, come on. Let's they beat Arkansas too.
Did he call out SMU? Is that who he said should have been out instead?
I think so. And then SMU had a really good clapback saying, not everyone's last name can be Pearl. Sorry. I guess we have to do with what we got to do. And then under the bus to CBS, they kind of screwed up Northern Iowa's feed a little bit.
I saw that.
And so like they didn't show Northern Iowa celebrating. It wasn't like a streaming lag like maybe we all thought, like because all these teams get sent a direct feed from CBS so that they can be on time and they can show the reactions. But whoever sent them that feed sent them the wrong one, and they were watching, I think, Hofstra celebrate like during that moment.
Awkward.
So weird.
Yeah.
All the studio folks were kind of mocking them a little bit, saying, "Oh, I guess they're nonchalant about it." It's like, no, they don't see themselves on the screen. Come on, get your technicalities. Well, look, it's not a great situation, but a lot of good folks have tried to make the better for it for a former Tiger, Marcus Allen, who is now a Miami Hurricane, transferred this past offseason. But this season, he has been fighting a much different battle against lymphoma, and there's a GoFundMe where you can go and help out his family during what's a very tough financial time when you fight that disease. And what's been sweet to see, Brendan, is that immediately afterwards, like Mizzou's matched up with Miami, and you're seeing an influx of donations to his site from
awesome.
Mizzou people and wanting to help out a former Tiger. Even though he's on the other side and he's an adversary this week, still helping him out there.
Yep, that's exactly what you like to see, and hopefully that momentum continues as Marcus Allen, continues that fight. Like you said, it's different than something that happens on the court. This is real life, and so you're rooting for him, even if he's on the other team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they have a goal of $100,000. They're getting kind of close to it. So if you want to help them out, we retweeted a way that you can find the link over at KTGR Big Show on Twitter if you feel so inclined to help out Marcus Allen in his fight against lymphoma. All right. We'll talk more tournament, obviously. We'll get to your texts on that. You can continue to leave comments on YouTube and on Facebook. We'll also talk Chiefs next. Justin Fields in the house. How's that going to make an impact? We'll talk next. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Now is the time, the springtime, to think about tree pruning, to think about the structural strength of your trees. This is the time to think about it, because once the summer rolls along and you try to do that work, it can be damaging to the trees. So now, if you get tree pruning done, they can grow back stronger as the months roll along. And there is one place and one guy that I trust with all of my tree needs, and that's Eric and his team over at Advanced Tree Solutions. They serve Columbia, Jefferson City, and Fulton. If you call him up, he'll be there on time. He'll take care of your trees. He'll assess what needs to be done, give you a fair and honest price, and the work is going to be top-notch. It'll take care of all of your worries about how your trees are doing. Let Eric and his team care for your trees at Advanced Tree Solutions. Go and check out their full range of services, advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. Definitely during this time of year, make sure to get tree pruning done before the summertime. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Your foresight is so good, you can practically see into the future. But fortune telling isn't the career path you want to take. Instead of predicting people's futures, you can help build them at Fuse 32. Because you recognize things before they can even become problems. You love the thrill of success and getting paid for it. All that's left to do now is look into that crystal ball and see yourself on the sales team at Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do. Apply now at Fuse32.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Less than a week after acquiring Geno Smith from the Raiders to be their starting quarterback again, the Jets traded Justin Fields to the Chiefs for a 2027 sixth-round pick. He'll be the new backup to Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Mahomes, rehabbing from knee surgery, hopes to be available for Week 1. The NBA will hold a vote at the Board of Governors meetings next week to explore adding expansion teams exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. Industry executives estimate both markets would be among the league's top 8 revenue generators, but not all owners are all in just yet, explains ESPN's Shams Charania.
My understanding is there is a growing majority of owners that are on board with expansion because the growth of revenue that's going to take place over the coming couple of decades with these two markets. There are still some owners, though, that are hesitant because the pie goes from 1/30th to 1/32nd. So we'll see exactly how the NBA has these conversations.
Proposals for the teams projected to be in the $7 to $10 billion range for each. Franchises would be targeted to start play in the 2028-2029 season.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit progressive.com.
From Faro. 15 to the 10, to the house. Bush. Back to the wall. And it's Goddard. And Arrowhead. Touchdown! Kansas City! To your speakers. This is the big show, baby. Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Oh, man, Selection Sunday was a wild one. Wasn't a Tiger fan. We've been talking about it all day, and you can still get your thoughts in on Mizzou's draw heading to St. Louis Friday night, the last game of the first round, which is kind of crazy. Let us know your thoughts, 573-875-KTGR. But we're going to talk a little Chiefs coming up because we actually have genuinely relevant Chiefs news from earlier today. A reported trade has gone down, and it gives the Chiefs a new backup to Patrick Mahomes, which in a year where he's recovering from an ACL tear may mean a new week one starter for the Chiefs. We'll talk about it coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And, everybody's calling for ABS in the World Baseball Classic after the way the USA game ended last night. Maybe there's some validity to it, but what a game it was. We'll talk some World Baseball Classic at 5:25 and chat with Larissa Anderson of Mizzou Softball before we get out of here today. All that's coming up, but first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
That's about as good of a draw as Mizzou could have hoped for in the NCAA tournament. The Tigers get to go to St. Louis. They're a 10 seed. Didn't think the 10 seeds would get that favorable of a look geographically, but this one does, apparently, for Mizzou, and they get to face Miami of Florida as the number 7. If they win, most likely Purdue is the number 2 team. Purdue's still really strong, but if you had to take your pick from the other 2s, the other ones are Houston, Iowa State, and UConn. Yeah, Purdue's probably the one you take. Either way, that first one on Friday night, late one, 9:10 p.m. tip-off approximately. It's going to be huge for Mizzou. To get a monkey off the back, you still need to win in March. Winning this game could quiet a few doubters, I think, of Dennis Gates, even if they bow out to Purdue in the second round.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
And I think in large part the committee did a good job of doling out the bids. I mean, you could nitpick and say, well, this team should have been higher or seeded lower or something like that. But I think they got the correct 68 teams in this field. Oklahoma made such a strong run, and they were the first team out. But I just think it was going to be too little too late, even for the run that they made. Rightfully so, Auburn left out. Rightfully so, some others. And Miami of Ohio got in as the very last team. I think it was well done by the committee in that sense. And now we'll see who's the best of the best.
Number 3.
Justin Fields to the Kansas City Chiefs in a trade with the New York Jets. Adam Schefter saying Fields comes here in exchange. A 2027 6th-round pick goes to the Jets. And it gives the Chiefs, I think, an upside option and honestly a lower cost option at the backup spot for Patrick Mahomes. Now you feel maybe a little better about who will be under center if, in fact, Mahomes' rehab doesn't get him ready for week 1 of the season. I think you can still give him a good chance to be there, though. And if Mahomes needs to be out at all, Justin Fields is an intriguing backup option the Chiefs can turn to. We'll talk about it in a bit.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Mizzou women's basketball will also have postseason play. They'll be in the WIT at Seton Hall. The Tigers are seeded as the 4 seed in their region, but they will go on the road because the Mission Championships are happening this week at Mizzou Arena. So they'll go to Seton Hall. Look, just more games for this Mizzou women's basketball team under Kelly Harper is a good thing. Get ready for next year.
Number 5.
Where's the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
That catch at the wall in the Tennessee-Georgia game is one of the coolest catches I've ever seen.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. The guy from Georgia.
That was crazy. I know what you're talking about there.
Oh, man.
Tennessee thought it had won the game. I mean, or taken the lead, I think it would have been. The kid batting did like a bat spike and everything. And then how often have you seen an entire team run out to the outfield wall to celebrate? It was a walk-off catch. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, the guy took it away in the left field wall. The Tennessee player thought that he had hit a go-ahead homer, and then the entire Georgia dugout just spills out, and they just run straight over to the other side. And that was the rubber game. So Georgia won the series against Tennessee. So that's even better with how Georgia was able to pull that one out. That's kind of SEC baseball in a nutshell for the most part around the most of the league, is that you just see those margins get so thin, and it could be catches like that that completely swing not just series, but at times seasons.
Yeah.
That could be something huge for Georgia for sure. Mizzou this weekend, well, they had to move around a game, make a doubleheader Saturday because it not only rained, but also snowed here in Columbia on Sunday. Friday had a delay where the lights went out at Taylor Stadium.
Bizarre
for
as that
about
may
an
be.
hour and a half. And
Callum McAndrew, by the way, was giving some great updates about that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Shout out to Callum for that.
That was interesting. And so that game didn't finish late. Auburn won that one close. Auburn won in extra innings, first game of the doubleheader, and then last game was all Auburn. So Mizzou, they were able to maybe turn the margin in their favor in their first couple of games. Maybe that would have happened differently, but yeah, that's the first taste of SEC play from Mizzou baseball, and so you got to recover. You get Kansas tomorrow. That's if you can go to Lawrence and beat Kansas.
Everybody feels better if you beat Kansas.
So we'll see if they can do that. You can hear it on the KTGR app tomorrow, and then they go to Tennessee this weekend.
Yeah, it's not going to get easy. There's not going to be these easy conference series coming up. The goal needs to be to win one of those games. I'm not going to baby Mizzou baseball. You gotta get one of those wins.
Yeah,
on your home field. We want to see progress. I think you could make the argument that progress was made in the way that those first two games were so hotly contested. Last year, the problem in many of these series was pitching, and you got good pitching in those first two games. You got to be able to close the deal on one of those to start to feel that momentum. We're not going to do moral victories on series sweeps this year, but I do think they showed you the potential to be able to do that in future series, win one, maybe even win a series in those types of environments. Got to be able to try to take advantage moving forward, especially when you have those home series. So I was encouraged that the pitching was, solid for 2 days. You had weirdness that you're working around. Totally understand that. If you find a way to win one of those games, I think we feel drastically differently about how it went down because, again, number 6 in the country. It's not going to be easy to win any of these games, but the more of those types of wins you can pick up with a losing record in conference, you will be an NCAA tournament team. So that's kind of the way that I look at it, is got to find a way to win one of those.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can build that momentum back that they had coming into the weekend some way, somehow. It'll be tougher to do that, but you can still hear Mizzou baseball throughout this week. Every game on the KTGR app. Once we hit the weekend, you'll hear last couple of games in the Tennessee series on KTGR frequencies. So be staying tuned for all of that. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. How about the Chiefs finding the backup quarterback? They needed to solve this issue. They needed somebody. Gardner Minshew's gone. He's now at Arizona. So they needed somebody to come in. And honestly, it's not just the fact that Justin Fields has been a starter before and has that type of upside that you think is still in there, even though it didn't look great with the Jets this past year. You still think, hey, maybe he can be something down the line. Definitely as a backup option. And honestly, with how his contract is situated, the Jets are eating a bunch of dead cap, and the Chiefs actually get a huge discount, even by standards of what you give backup quarterbacks these days. You give it a year and you only give them $3 million, $4 million, something like that. That's perfect.
Yeah, Trey Lance just signed for $6.5 million to go back to the Chargers.
Yeah.
And Trey Lance has not started 53 NFL games.
No.
Justin Fields doesn't have a great record in those starts, but you're starting some games with the Jets. The Bears were rough during those years. I think the skills are there, and you put him in a situation like the Chiefs. Again, we don't have to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. That's not the point. Compare him to Gardner Minshew. Compare him to Blaine Gabbert. Compare him to those guys and tell me that Justin Fields doesn't have more upside for a similar price point. I think he absolutely does. And I don't mind that in a year where Patrick Mahomes may not play in week 1. I think he will, but you could do a lot worse, I think, than Justin Fields for a 6th. I like it.
Yeah, and I don't see it as a signal of, the Chiefs don't think that
I don't
Mahomes
either.
is going to be
Nope.
ready. No, like
You
they
got
were
to
going
back
to
up.
had to have somebody. And this was the best option you could have hoped for. And I'm honestly a little surprised. Well, not that much, because there was a reason to jettison the Jets, or for the Jets to jettison Justin Fields once they brought back Geno Smith. You at least saw the signal of that. They're probably not going to keep both of them. And so now that he's available, the Chiefs can pounce and find a way to get the deal done. And it only costs you a 6th round pick next year. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That aspect of it does not signal one way or the other. This is how the Chiefs feel about Patrick Mahomes, whether he can go. But look, he can start week 1 and then maybe get knocked out in a future game, right? So you gotta have somebody there that you trust. It'll be interesting to see how much they trust Justin Fields. If you are still a Justin Fields backer and you think, well, he has not had the right coaching staff to get the best out of him, and you all of a sudden think that this Chiefs offensive staff is going to be better for him in whatever opportunities he might have this year, well, then you should be pretty excited about this. And then it just comes down to, okay, will the Chiefs then unlock that if in fact he gets thrown into a situation where he's got to play in non-garbage time minutes,
right,
and find a way to keep the Chiefs offense afloat. I wonder if we need to know more about what the Chiefs offense is before we can really answer that question, but the bones are pretty much there. And so I wonder if we predict whether Justin Fields gets into a game in some capacity this year.
I mean, I don't think we can predict that based on anything that Justin Fields is or isn't going to do. That's really just determined by Mahomes, right? They're not going to play Justin Fields over Mahomes.
And probably not a bit player, right? You don't change him out in any other.
If Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback, you don't do that kind of stuff. No, I don't think you is there a play that they do against the Raiders, because that's when they bring out their plays to clown on somebody.
Yeah.
Whatever the ring around the rosy of the season will be. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I also think the Chiefs are going to couch a lot of that kind of stuff, knowing the way that last year went. They've got to prove that they're still the class of the AFC and the class of the NFL. So I think they're going to be, full steam ahead on that. It'll be determined by whether or not Mahomes can play 17 plus playoffs or whether he cannot. And that's how you get Justin Fields into a game. But your point about if you're still a believer, I mean, 2021, I believe Fields was drafted with Nagy. Nagy got fired. He had Eberflus in there, and I think he's terrible. And everything I've seen from him in the NFL shows that he's terrible. So okay, hard to hold that against him. I think was Shane Waldron even there for a spell? I
can't remember if there was crossover there or not.
Shane Waldron, I mean, he is just a nightmare. But I feel like
it was what's his name? Different offensive
different guy
that has played out since then.
I just wanted to yell about Shane Waldron, whether it was his fault or not. I do think he ended up. Did he latch on with? No, I think it was Jacksonville this year, maybe one of those teams. Anyway, doesn't matter. Eberflus was the head coach. Then he goes to Justin Fields. Went to Pittsburgh. We're like, okay, that's a capable coaching staff. He got to start 6 games. He went 4-2,
yeah,
and had a 5-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and I think he did some good things with his legs.
That was Arthur Smith, right?
And so it's and then I look at the head coach and the situation. Mike Tomlin, remember he never got fired. He was left of his own accord, but did a little with his legs. Averaged, I'm looking this down, not quite 50 yards per game on the ground, but had 5 rushing touchdowns. Did perfectly adequately in the one spot in his career where he's been in a system that people don't think is complete hot garbage. Went to the Jets this past year, and we, saw what happened there. So yeah, I am all about putting Justin Fields on the Chiefs. I think that's a great idea for the Chiefs. I think it's a great idea for Justin Fields.
Luke Getsy was that offensive coordinator, I think, for most of Justin Fields' time in Chicago, but also could not really unlock the absolute best out of him. Maybe the head coach put a little kibosh on how he would actually be used. But yeah, in this situation, you're not You're not asking him to be that. Maybe he's just asked to be the best version of himself and knows that the pressure of the world is not on him yet.
And then Getsy went to the Raiders for a year as the OC, got fired.
Also did not do well, yeah.
He's with Green Bay as the quarterback's coach for the coming season. He was a senior offensive assistant last year, which is a nothing, that he's not in charge of anything. So, yeah, I just think that the situation is going to be as good for Fields as it's ever been. The pressure's off. You come in knowing you're the backup. You're not competing for a starting spot. You may have to play early if Mahomes is behind schedule. Newsflash, Mahomes will not be behind schedule. Mahomes will not allow for that to happen. He's a freak. All right? I'm just telling you. He's going to play week 1. I think it's a great situation for Fields to be able to be around. I was going to say, this lack of dysfunction, just be around like a good system. Obviously, the Chiefs have to prove that they're not teetering toward a less functional version of themselves. But we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs here. We're not talking about what he dealt with the Bears or with the Jets.
Yeah, because that was just absolutely dysfunctional.
He did not have a great chance. And I think it's hard to expect a guy to elevate a team around him against a certain number of impediments. And what I would point to as evidence of that is a guy like Sam Darnold, right? We thought Sam Darnold was completely trash with the Jets. And then it's like, well, he's gone to 2 other places now where we feel like the coaching staff in place does a pretty good job in handling quarterback position and doing what they do. And we've seen Sam Darnold be successful at 2 places, and he just won a Super Bowl. So I'm not saying that's the same, that they're not the same player, but I do think we have learned a lot about writing off a quarterback too early. Baker Mayfield's another good example. I don't know that Justin Fields is ever going to be those guys. But let's give him a chance in a place like Kansas City to hold a clipboard, and then maybe if pressed, could do something for you. I like it.
Best case scenario, you don't find out about Justin Fields or whether he's good or not.
Yeah, and then the Chiefs' dust that got sprinkled on him during the year parlays him into another job where he's suddenly better. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens with these guys more often than not. That was exactly the Darnold thing. Like, Darnold hardly played with San Francisco for that 1 year that he was there, right? Am I misremembering this? I mean, he got into a few games, but
I think Purdy was hurt maybe towards the end.
Yeah, there were a few games where he looked good and stuff, but
honestly,
297 passing yards that whole season, so he couldn't have played much.
Yeah, and the Niners were up in a lot of their games, and so Darnold was able to get out there pretty often.
He played in 10 games. I don't know how many times he attempted a pass.
Yeah, it was all pretty much like mop-up duty. Now, in the case of Fields, you obviously hope that's the case. You wonder how much they decide to play him in the preseason, like how Mahomes' rehab is going. You can't expect Mahomes really to play almost any of the preseason. It would then be interesting, though, like if Fields is your de facto QB1 in the preseason, how much you use him, or like make sure that he is also not taking unnecessary hits for the potential of needing to be ready at some point soon when the regular season comes around. That is kind of interesting. The other thing interesting that I think about is like, okay, clearly Justin Fields has shown to be a strong runner when the offenses that he operates allows him to get out and use his legs. Those offenses seem to be at their best.
Yeah.
Chiefs already brought in Kenneth Walker.
Right.
Like clearly run games needing a revamp, and they brought in the running back and the offensive coordinator to do so. Right. I wonder what Eric Bieniemy thinks about Justin Fields' ability to run. Should he be in that quarterback scenario, and how likely it is that he's able to unlock some more.
Well, let's think about this. How often does Patrick Mahomes impact a game with his legs, picking up rushing yards? A lot.
A lot.
How often are they designing Patrick Mahomes to run?
Not a lot.
Never. Not at all. So I think that they would encourage Justin Fields to kind of run like Mahomes runs, which sounds like not possible to do. But Fields is very athletic. And I feel like if they got his head wrapped around, hey, your legs will be a part of what we do. But it's in those moments where we trust you to extend a play and take what's there, like Patrick does, versus how many of those plays do you design around Justin Fields' legs? I feel like the best quarterback runners are the ones that can do it as they're ad-libbing when a play goes a little bit off script, and that's what Mahomes is so brilliant at. I don't think Eric Bieniemy would say, yeah, let's dial up some QB draws for Fields. I think it's more have him run like a Mahomes rather than run like a Bo Prabula, where you're like, hey, all you can do is run, so we're going to give it to you. I think the Chiefs would want to instill a little confidence in the passing of Justin Fields if he had to do it and say, let that just be the extension and do it when you have to, rather than we're going to scheme it up and change the offense. Again, no matter what, we're talking about a world where Mahomes is hurt and we don't want to live in that world. But, I mean, you do have to get the backup quarterback for that exact reason, to be prepared for such a scenario.
No, I think about the spots where the Chiefs are able to put Mahomes in good space to run if there's nothing open downfield. You just imagine what Justin Fields would do with that same type of space if they're running the offense the same way. And look, like, you still have to see what Justin Fields is about. He still has to learn this offense. He still has to realize that, look, buddy, you've bounced around. Now it's time to really focus up and see if you can stick with the team. And so, like, if he can stick as Kansas City's backup, and they will have done so well with that trade to keep him in the room and say, like, hey, you can be our next option if we need to turn away because Mahomes is hurt. And, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Marksy says Fields will get into games as a package player. He's a better running quarterback. Think of what Andy Reid will draw up. Press recall, he did have McNabb and Vic at a time. Like, it's true.
Yeah, I guess you're not taking Patrick off the field, I wouldn't think.
And you're not subjecting Justin Fields to hits like that, I think, a lot of the time, when you know that he's a valuable backup and you don't want him to be, so.
I could see it, though, where, like, Mahomes is under center and then Mahomes splits out. I mean, they could do some goofy stuff. Your guy did just tear his ACL, though, so I think we want to probably limit as much of the goofiness as we can.
It is going to be interesting how they coach Mahomes into that. Like, will you, like, obviously there are scenarios where he will need to run, but how do they change up protections? How do they give him options to roll out? How many bootlegs will they run? Is going to be an interesting.
Yeah, him out of the pocket is part of what makes him great. So I think you have to be willing to still, but again, he's going to be training like a maniac. I'm telling you, it's going to be, most times we would say a guy off an ACL that first year, he's not 100% with his mobility. Mahomes will be. Until I see that he's not, I'm going to believe that him and that guy, Bobby, and his trainer's name,
Bobby Stroop, something like that. Yeah.
They're just doing like some insane devil magic to get him back, and he'll be back
somewhere over in the DFW area, just living in that facility.
Telling you,
it's just
get ready for that storyline come August or July, where it's like Mahomes is moving better than he ever has, and it's guaranteed. I would be shocked if it's not. Yeah, he's ready to go. But like before the preseason even starts, we're gonna know.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Jason says QB sneak. If not, bringing Hunt back, short yardage. No, not even that. Like, because I don't think you bring in Justin Fields to QB sneak.
No.
You let Noah Gray do that. Like, I think that's what they do.
Find whichever, your tight end that has the sure hands, that if you've got to do the tush-push play or whatever.
Tush-push still legal in the NFL. It's the XFL where they...
I think it's still
UFL.
I think it's still legal, and I don't know what month does it happen that they revisit that. Did they already do the revisiting for this year?
I think they already did, yeah.
Competition committee, however they do it, they got to vote. I don't know. They'll be tush pushing.
Either way, Chiefs have a very solid option, if you ask us, at backup quarterback should they need it. Justin Fields in a trade via the New York Jets comes to Kansas City. So what do you think, Chiefs fans, about the possibility of Justin Fields taking snaps? Should he need to? Or text us at 875-KTGR. Give us your thoughts on Mizzou in the NCAA tournament as well. We'll have Larissa Anderson of Mizzou softball joining us at 5:45. But up next, is it in fact time? Was it past time for the WBC to add ABS? Very unfortunate timing as to when they will install ABS, if you ask the Dominican Republic from last night. We'll get to that next.
The best subscriptions in life are free. Subscribe to KTGR on YouTube to watch The Big Show and other exclusive content. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Celebrating 50 years in business. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. And since you've got a nice large tax return this year, you've got the ability to put it towards something that lasts, like updating your bathroom with modern light fixtures or new kitchen lighting that pops. And Midway Electric is the team of pros you can trust to bring those dreams to life. From custom lighting to complete electrical upgrades, Midway Electric helps transform the spaces you use every day. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
You could be right in the middle of celebrating a big win, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got ants on the counter or mice in the garage. Hi, I'm Mike Kelly. As someone who's called buzzer beaters and game winners for 3 decades, I think the best call that you can make is to Steve's Pest Control. I'm on the road a lot during the season, which is why I've signed up for Steve's 5-star Pest Control program. It's comforting to know that even when I'm not home, Steve's Pest Control is protecting my house from termites and other pests. Plus, the 5-star program keeps the pests at bay, controlling and eliminating them before they have a chance to enter your home. Scheduling is incredibly easy. You don't even have to be home. And if a pest problem pops up at any time, Steve's will perform a retreat for no additional charge. Call Steve's Pest Control today and ask about their 5-star pest control program so you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
My name is Max Walkner. I'm a marketing consultant with Zimmer Communications. Working as a marketing consultant was not something I was expecting to do in my lifetime whatsoever. So getting the job here and then having so many helpful people around you to help you be successful was really awesome for me and is what made me fall in love with this job. Team is great. We all want to see each other succeed. I think that's a huge part of working here and a huge benefit of working here.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
This is Phil Fortaleza here with Mizzou basketball's Anthony Robinson II and his mama Nisha, getting ready for the latest Sticklin' and Sticklin' injury law commercial.
Aunt, you got your line?
I got it, Mom.
Go ahead.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Call Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
Mom, that's my line.
At Sticklin' and Sticklin', all they do is personal injury.
Sticklin' and Sticklin'.
It's a slam dunk.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. A auto claim came when my wife was rear-ended. Everyone was safe, but that left a lot of cosmetic damage on her brand new car. We called Phyllis, said, hey, this is what happened, and she's made it a very streamlined process. Phyllis lined out our rental car and made everything just so easy. And having 3 kids and losing a vehicle is a big deal, but Phyllis went to bat for us, got everything lined out, and made it a very easy process.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Oh, update on that Alabama situation. Aiden Holloway removed from campus. Not with the team right now.
No way. Well,
that's wild. Man.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, he's a big piece of their team. Had 18 points in the most recent game they played, which was a loss to Ole Miss. So,
I mean,
oh my gosh, I mean, he's charged with a felony. As much as I kind of downplayed it, because I was like, my reaction initially was, well, since when are we doing like marijuana charges, right? Like that's kind of legal everywhere, and even where it's not, people are kind of like whatever. The charge, I don't even know what to make of this. First-degree possession of marijuana, that doesn't sound great. Failure to affix a tax stamp is what I'm reading on USA Today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, more than a pound of marijuana paraphernalia in cash were found in the residence. The pound part, that I know enough to know that's probably not good. I've never seen the stuff, nor would I have imagined seeing it as a pound.
No.
So that's probably what's got him. But it is, I guess, felony rises to a felony level. So
He's off the team until he goes through the school's investigation process, according to Pete Thamel. Man. Wonder how long that'll take. When do they play? Thursday? Friday?
Oh, yes. They play Thursday or Friday. I can promise
They play
you that.
Friday. 2:15. Boy.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Take Hofstra in your bracket?
I don't think I can. No.
No?
No. I told you I'm worried about all the upset possibilities. I'm that guy that puts my 11s and my 12s and my 13s through. This year, a lot of the good teams that would have been seeded in that range lost early in their conference tournaments. And so you have, in some cases, lesser versions of, like, just the Ken Palms of it all, lesser versions of those would-be Cinderellas. And I'm a little bit worried that we could get a redux of last year where, like, Mizzou losing to Drake was everybody's big upset, you know?
It's true. There weren't a whole lot last year as far as the seed upsets in the first round. But, yeah, I hope that we at least get to see that team at full strength eventually. I hope that somebody like Hofstra or High Point is another trendy one, I know.
But they're playing, High Point is Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin is the team they're playing.
They're tough.
Wisconsin's a tough team. I was ready to, like, whoever was matched up with Arkansas, I was ready to give Arkansas a first-round exit. But then when I saw Hawaii, I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. Like, Arkansas is going to be fine with that matchup, too. Kansas has a road game. They go to Cal Baptist. 4 versus 13, technically. North Dakota State could do it. Taking on Michigan State.
Who do they play?
Michigan State. In fact, I might write that one in.
That's a 14 versus a 3?
Yeah.
Isn't there something about not betting against Izzo in March, but then, like, usually he loses.
Izzo has
right?
lost as a 2 before against a 15. That's happened.
That's true. That's
happened before. But, yeah, now we'll see. Again, if you want to try and see how many you can get right, you can enter our tournament challenge, our bracket pool, which you can find the link at ktgr.com and on the KTGR app. And if you have the app, upload a picture of your handwritten picks, and we'll send you a free KTGR t-shirt. Look at that. That's how we do it.
Pretty cool.
On the big show.
Just saying. And you don't have to draw the bracket. That's just my thing.
You don't have to draw the entire bracket. You just have
bonus points if you do.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
shout you out on the show by name if you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. But all we're asking for is print out a blank one and write in your picks. Take a picture, upload it to the KTGR app, and you get a free t-shirt. Doesn't matter what your picks are either. You don't have to win the pool or anything like that. You just got to send it in and we give you a t-shirt. How about that? You're already a winner.
That's called a no downside deal.
Exactly.
Where I'm from.
More ways to win here on KTGR and the Big Show. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. So Team USA is in the final of the WBC and might be a little lucky to be so. A little bit. I don't say that was the reason why they won. The fact that the slider that very clearly missed the zone from Mason Miller to be the final strike and the final play of the game that sealed it for Team USA against the Dominican Republic. And what was an excellent game last night. That's not why Team USA won. I think they were just a little bit better. But
it was a great game.
That call was also very tough.
Wrong. It was below the zone. I like that Albert Pujols took the high road. He said, I'm not going to criticize anything with that. Like, it is what it is. It wasn't meant to be, I think, is the quote that he gave. It was low. Did I kind of fist pump when they got the call though? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I want to see USA advance, so
it's like your last chance to benefit from stealing a strike away now that ABS is coming.
There's going to be a game though, more than once it'll happen this summer where team used its challenges on some bogus decisions and then they're really going to wish they had one. I mean, that'll happen eventually, but yeah, it's that was the wrong call. And we're so used to like watching these spring training games where ABS is in play and CB Buckner had a first inning the other day where he got 3 of them wrong in a row. And, this is going to happen so that when you see it to decide a game, your instinct would be to go, wait a minute, let me get the helmet tap, but that's not in play yet.
Didn't happen in this one. And so the WBC will have ABS next time they play a WBC in whatever it is, 4 years.
Yeah. I think it's every 3 years. It's kind of a weird,
it's an odd
timeline
type deal. But next time they will have it. It's just unfortunate that maybe they didn't have it this time around when the league is going to
unfortunate for the Dominican Republic. Yeah. It's unfortunate for those guys. If you're a Team USA fan, if you're Mark DeRosa,
you're like, hey,
just trying like hell to avoid anything further. He just keeps stepping in it every which way. I think the guy could win the tournament and still people will go, could we find a different manager for next time? Like, I'm serious. That might happen. I don't know how, like, the inner workings of how they make that type of decision. But optically, it's not been great. And, like, you're getting a scenario where, and to take nothing away from Italy or Venezuela, you're getting a scenario where, like, you're not facing the top dog in this where people thought it was going to be that USA-Japan rematch. Like, you kind of lucked out maybe in avoiding Otani. So, got to probably win the whole thing now. But part of me just goes, would be pretty cool if Italy won.
I mean, I want to see that game now. No doubt that's the game. That's the matchup I want to see. And then just entertain me for all of tomorrow night when the WBC final takes place in Miami. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I'm hoping for a good game tonight, Italy and Venezuela. Several Salvador Perez and Michael Garcia versus Vinny Pasquantino and Jack Caglione.
Should be very fun.
That's awesome. And then the fact that Italy is the team that has kind of replaced Japan in the sense of, look, you might not be totally familiar with everyone on their team, but they're all together. They all keep the sense of a team to the highest mantra. They're proud of their country, and that's the juice that brings them forward, with the addition of, they've got a whole bunch of boppers in their lineup too, that can damage you in any spot. And so they're a dangerous team when it comes to that. I hope they win and we get USA Italy tomorrow. And at that point, I don't care who wins. Because if Italy wins, that'd be like also like USA winning, because all of those players could have played for USA too.
Yeah, I guess I do want to see USA win, but I also am kind of like, I don't know. We got the hockey one. Isn't that the one that counts the most? I don't know. No, I want to see him win. You always want to see him win. It is kind of like our thing. But to your point, it's not like most of the guys on Italy couldn't have also played for this team if their nationality was eligible. Let's put it that way.
I did see a tweet of like when Team USA was down 5-0 to Italy. A tweet out there, I can't remember who it was from, but saying like, if Italy's soccer team was down 5-0 to the United States, would any of them like be able to come back to the country for that? And it's like,
no, I hear you. There's kind of been this vibe for Team USA baseball though of like, do these guys care as much as some of these other?
Sure,
like, it's intense for some of these other countries.
Yeah,
I feel like this one might be the one where like USA should be able to coast and just win it. And, since it hasn't happened yet, people are kind of like getting a little antsy about the way that it's gone. But I think they're going to end up being fine.
Italy and Venezuela tonight, then the USA gets the winner tomorrow on the WBC. 875-KTGR if you want to weigh in. Larissa Anderson joins us next on The Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. It's round and rubber. Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou is in the NCAA tournament, and they'll get to play in St. Louis for their first round and second round game if they make it that far. Tigers are the 10 seed in the West region and will take on the 7 seed Miami Hurricanes Friday night late. It's an approximate 9-10 p.m. tip-off time at Enterprise Center. And Mizzou will look for its first win, well, really their second win in the NCAA tournament in the last 15 years. Tip-off again at 9:10 p.m. Central Time on Friday night. You can hear it on KTGR Radio. Mizzou women's basketball also in the postseason in the WBIT. Their first-round game will be at Seton Hall Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Coverage begins at 5:45 right here on KTGR. And the Chiefs, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, have traded for Justin Fields to be their backup quarterback. Fields was the starter for the Jets at the start of last season, but was benched mid-year. He's also been with the Steelers and the Bears. He comes to Kansas City. In exchange, the Chiefs send the Jets a 2027 sixth-round pick. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
Just like you, 1851 Underground Tap and Grill is excited about watching Mizzou hoop it up in March this year. So put on your black and gold, grab your brackets, and meet your friends at 1851 Underground. With daily drink specials and half-off select appetizers for happy hour, it's a perfect place to take in the tournament. They've also got great Saturday specials on Bloody Marys and mimosas. It's no secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton. 1851underground.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey here as we now turn to the Diamond Sports and particularly Mizzou softball, who had a good weekend. They had 4 wins out of 4 in their Mizzou bye week series, playing 3 non-conference opponents. They got 2 wins over South Dakota and Minnesota and Iowa State, 2 more wins over them as the Tigers get 4 wins this year and improve to 12-16 overall. Head coach Larissa Anderson with us now on the Big Show to talk about it. And coach, to not only have those wins, but to get the games in, you had to kind of move the games around to make sure you avoided Sunday with all the crazy weather. But that created 2 back-to-back doubleheaders for your group. How do you think they handled it going forward?
We took away with the wins. I mean, it was great to see. We had great energy for all 4 games, outstanding pitching performances. Our offense, I thought, was extremely competitive, especially in that Iowa State game coming from behind. When we got production all the way through the entire lineup. So really good to see that we're in a real good place mentally and physically. We're completely healthy. So I'm just continue to hopefully carry this momentum into this Wednesday series we have with Illinois.
Yeah, and you talked about the offense doing as well as it did. It seemed the start of it when you got out early against Minnesota and then kept the pressure on against South Dakota, and then it seemed to kind of help out for the rest of those games. How, as a whole, did you see the group kind of get to the start that you wanted them to?
Yeah, and I think in majority of the games we're scoring early. We're scoring in the first inning, so that obviously takes the pressure off of our pitching staff. It's a lot easier to be able to go out there and pitch that first inning, first couple innings with a couple run lead. So I'd like to see that, and we'll continue to put the pressure on them and being able to build throughout the entire game. But what was great to see that when we did get behind, we didn't change our demeanor. We didn't panic. We really trusted that we were able to be able to score and have some quality at bats. And we just capitalized on the opportunities that we had, which was good to see.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach, with us on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. It sure seemed like offensively, Stefania Abruscato had an excellent weekend. I think I counted up 9 for 13 for her throughout the 4 games. Driving in runs, getting some power for you, and in a key spot in the lineup. How did you see her really take charge this week?
Yeah, she did. She was swinging at great pitches, and the big key with her is she was working the middle of the field. Early on in the season, she would get herself out, and I think she was expanding the inner half of the plate a little bit, and she would hit some monster foul balls, and she was very pull conscious and in and out of the zone. So anything that was out over the plate, she just was mishitting a little bit. And now her swing is working much more in the middle of the field, so she's hitting a lot more balls hard. She's able to drive that outside pitch, which she wasn't doing early. And we definitely need that production in the 2 spots. So it's helping our lineup to be able to get that where we're able to set it up for her, and she's just come through in a lot of clutch situations.
And it also seems Sophie Smith had some really good swings this weekend. What have you seen from her? Again, kind of on the younger side, but still getting a lot more experience here.
Yeah, Sophie's one that, she's probably the most competitive person on the team and in the lineup for sure. She does the most with what she has. She's small stature. She's a little middle infielder, extremely fast and moves very well, but she makes the most out of what she's able to do. And she knows exactly what pitches she can handle and what she doesn't. She has great plate discipline at the plate, and just continues to drive the middle of the field. But just because she is so competitive, you're going to get the best out of her. And she's just so consistent in everything that she does.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach here on the Big Show KTGR and the KTGR app. And it also seemed that there were times where Abby Carr was helping out offensively for you, as well as doing well pitching-wise for you, especially in some key spots this weekend. How did you see her, and just kind of as this season has gone along for her, handling both workloads, how have you seen her manage that to this point now that you're kind of near the midpoint?
Yeah, and I'm glad that the ball finally fell for Abby Carr. I mean, she's had great at-bats all season long. She probably leads the country in lineouts. I mean, and it's so frustrating as a hitter. Like, you can do everything right. You're on time. You square it up, and it's just right at somebody. And you don't want them to change anything. And that's just what her and I talk about all the time. I'm like, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. You're good. They're going to fall. This game is cruel at times, and the ball's going to find a hole sometime. And I'm just glad that she was able to capitalize. And we joke around and say, well, if you hit the ball out, you're not going to line out when you hit it out of the park. So, I mean, managing her on both sides and being a two-way player is challenging. And we just constantly are communicating every single day on what her volume is, what her workload is, what does she need to do mentally? How do we get her game ready when she is in relief role? And, that's probably the biggest challenge, is when she's close to being in the batting lineup and either on deck, and I need to get her game ready. How do we be able to manage that? And sometimes she has to get herself game ready a little bit earlier. But it's just that constant communication, and she's just handled it with great poise.
Yeah, certainly. And when she came to the circle to help out pitching wise, and certainly when you have two doubleheaders created, sometimes the pitching, you got to make sure you figure out that plan. But how did you manage that towards this weekend? And certainly got some good production from McCann and also from Courtney Donahue, it seemed.
Yeah, and then what was helpful is that our offense was able to score so much in game one on Saturday that I didn't have to get Carr loose in the bullpen. So that saved her to be able to come out a lot earlier in game two to follow Harrison. And Donahue has really been bridging that gap. She's been doing a really good job. She throws a different velocity. She's a little bit slower than McCann and Harrison. So it's a real good complement to the two of them. She's got great control and great command. So then I know exactly that she's not going to give up a lot of free bases. So it's hopefully, let's try to get through the lineup one time, which hopefully should be 3 innings before we have to bring in Carr. So it's a real good compliment to be able to bridge that gap between the starters and Carr as a closer.
Absolutely. You mentioned at the start the importance of being able to come back against that Iowa State team when they tied it up, and you're able to still scratch some runs across and then finish it out towards the end. And what was your last game of the weekend? And I'm sure when you're right there, you're trying to finish out as strong as possible. How impressive was it for your group, just both sides, being able to keep that focus in throughout that last game to come back?
Yeah, really, really impressive. I mean, I was tired, so I can't even imagine what the team was. We had a really late night on Friday and then back at it for a doubleheader on Saturday, and Iowa State only had to play 1 game a day. So really different measurement in terms of fatigue level, where we were in game 4 and they were in game 2. Just so unbelievably proud of them and the effort that they put in and the fight the whole way through for 7 innings. And, when Iowa State came back and tied it up, and it's really easy to get disappointed and discouraged, and they didn't. They just continued to battle and found ways to be able to put in a couple more runs on the board. And then Abby Carr with her composure. I mean, the real tough situations that she was in and battled and got herself out of some holes that we were in.
So you get those 4 wins this weekend, and now kind of a busier week also. You get another doubleheader Wednesday when you go to Champaign to take on Illinois before your first home conference series, Alabama coming to town. So when you look at this next week, and even more of a workload for your girls to be able to bounce off of this, have a day off yesterday, what's kind of the mindset that you want them to have this week?
Well, wish we could be outside, but we got a little snow on the ground. So we're going to be stuck inside today and tomorrow. We got some work to do. We're going to have some pitchers throwing live today. The 3, Donahue, Mahalik, and Touche, who haven't had a lot of live at bats. So they're going to throw live today to keep our hitters fresh. Tomorrow we'll get a little work in before we hit the road, and we'll be spending the night in Illinois. But it's just continue to fine tune and then not look too far ahead to Alabama. So we got to make sure we take care of business on Wednesday and really focus on being competitive against Illinois. But I mean, it's going to be great to have an SEC weekend. It looks like the weather's going to be awesome with Alabama coming to town. But, it's just continue to get better every single day. Our pitchers need to continue to control the strike zone and be very competitive and keeping hitters off balance. And that's what our focus is going to be on, throwing a lot of off speed and change ups to really disrupt the timing of the hitters that we face and our hitters being able to eliminate. And we talk about what pitches that our hitters are going to see, but it's also what pitches you have to eliminate because you can't be able to hit every single pitch.
So again, Mizzou softball will take on Illinois this Wednesday. The doubleheader gets started at 1:00, and then hosting Alabama this weekend for their first conference home series, 5:00 Friday, 2:00 Saturday, and noon on Sunday for Mizzou softball to bounce off a 4-0 weekend during their bye-week series out of conference, but it's looking to, here at the midpoint in the season, keep piling up wins as they'll have 5 chances to do that this week. Head coach Larissa Anderson with us on the Big Show, KTGR. Thanks, Coach, for coming on and talking with us. Hope you're well, and good luck this week.
Thanks, Andy. MIZ.
It's the Big Show on KTGR and the KTGR app, so certainly a much-needed weekend for Mizzou softball to get 4 wins on the ledger. In fact, that was a 5-0 week that they had if you include the midweek win they got over Tennessee Martin. So trying to get back in the right direction. Obviously, you need to climb above 500 to be considered for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament, but still some room to be able to do that if you're Mizzou softball. Going to have to really attack conference play and take care of the home games that they'll have this weekend against Alabama. But first things first, they'll have that doubleheader that'll also be pretty crucial at Illinois this Wednesday. So we'll keep following that, and we thank you for following us here on the Big Show. Don't forget, download the KTGR app, enter our bracket challenge right now, upload your handwritten bracket, and send it in for a KTGR t-shirt. Yeah, you'll win for free just for uploading that photo. And be sure to join the online bracket pool for even more prizes or chances at prizes during this bracket challenge season. So go and check that out on the KTGR app right now, and we'll see you at 4:00 tomorrow for another Big Show. NBA coverage coming up next from ESPN Radio, so stay tuned for that. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
Hey, construction dude, congrats on the killer contract in Cape. Sweet. So, how are you